Hello, y'all. Hope you're having a fantastic day. I'm Nobodium, and today we're going to be reading some more Markiplier from North Korea. I'll be honest, I don't remember what chapter we're on. But, let's see. Early teen Markiplier second marriage? We'll see. We'll see where I'm at. It's been a day or two since I read some. Returning to Cincinnati, we all flew back to San Diego, joined Cliff. We managed to pack everything we owned in his Honda. I think we read this chapter, yeah. 8 celebrate the 4th of July. We finished this one as well. So we're on Markiplyer's second marriage, chapter 13. We might be able to finish this, not today, but within a couple more videos. When I was 34 years old, I met a man who would eventually turn my simple life into an unexpected direction. Ironically, I met Larry Frank in the month of December of 1987. Our meeting happened to be purely unexpected, as if the universe had already decided to set us up to meet the day at that place. Did I miss something? When was the divorce? Maybe it already happened. I don't know. Maybe the details weren't explained. Or maybe he died. Oh, that could make sense. I feel bad for that one. Unexpected direction. When I met Larry, he was single without any children. Although he was 12 years older than me, he looked about my age and had a charming personality. Larry was an engineer who worked as part of the quality control staff at GE. His job required him to travel exclusively to South Korea and China. Even though I knew that my actions would hurt my family dearly for some reason, I felt totally alive when I saw Larry. I felt that we were destined to be together. 3 years later, on December 15, 2000, we finally got married. During those 3 years, my marriage to Cliff had been unbelievably rocky, and I was blinded by my love for Larry, and I was willing to give up everything to marry him. Shortly after Cliff found out about my affair with Larry, wanting to ease Cliff's pain over losing me, I walked out of our home with practically nothing but my hard-earned nursing degree. Cliff was chosen to do jury duty the whole month of February, and ironically, he was a case about a husband who killed his wife because he was jealous. About the same time as my divorce, my mom had stroke and required intense nursing care for months. I temporarily moved back to Seoul so I could be her caregiver for a few weeks. While spending private time with my mom, I learned from her that she was upset and worried about my kids due to my divorce. And then she told me a story that was very confusing to me at the time. Looking back at what was blurted out to me, I now realize that she was right. According to Green Custom, my mom had been consulted her usual fortune teller about my boys. Her fortune teller had told her that the 2 boys were predestined to be very famous stars when they grew up. I couldn't understand how the fortune teller had come up with such an idea. Regardless, it made me feel good to hear it. Also, I couldn't believe that my mother believed that the prediction must be true. Chapter 14, Markiplier becomes an RN. In 1995, after graduating from nursing school, I was hired to work as a nurse at the same long-term care facility where I had worked on a aide in order to pay for my tuition. My lifelong nursing goal was to help inexperienced moms living far from home, family, and friends, just like I had been when I delivered my 2 sons. After being traumatized while delivering my Mark, I knew that needs of inexperienced moms. I always felt that Mark and I were lucky to be alive, and I wanted to change my any of the cultural and language barriers that had existed during my deliveries. I felt like I was positioned to change the somewhat barbaric procedure. I wanted to be much more supportive and sensitive to the mom's needs to spare them to the trauma that I had undergone. After working 8 years at the long term care facility, I knew that my nursing experience had prepared me to apply for a job that I was passionate about. I decided to apply to work on a labor and delivery corps at the University of Cincinnati Hospital. I was grateful that my nurse manager, Mary Jo, RN, and had also worked overseas and wholeheartedly agreed with me on the needs of an experienced mom. She was eager to offer me an opportunity to work for her. Soon, I found out that I was the only Asian nurse on the unit in the last 30 years. All I can say now is that it was the most challenging and exciting work I've ever had the honor to participate in. There's a little image. In 1995, I became a registered nurse in the state of Ohio. That wasn't for you, Vivian. After I married Larry Frank in 2000, Cliff married a lady named Dee in the following year. Dee's first husband had died in his sleep the same year that Cliff and I started living separately. Coincidentally, both Larry and Dee did not bear their own children. Both of my boys were doted on by both sets of parents as they grew into college-bound teenagers. That's gotta be weird. Like, not weird in the sense that, like, most people end up with, like, a stepmom, but, like, you have, like, 4 parents, essentially. One biological and one not, and it's just, like, you'd be like, oh, yeah, my stepmom, but my real mom, my stepdad, but my real dad. Seems like a lot of words, in a way. We're going to read chapter 15 as well. Traumatic accident of Larry Frank. In August 2005, I was put into a situation where almost everything was taken away from me, Larry and me. Larry had many friends, especially his fraternity brothers from UC before. I had often seen them at parties having a good time together. One summer evening, we were all invited to the party at his friend Brian's house. When we arrived at the party, Larry couldn't wait to join his brothers in drinking, and he became increasingly intoxicated as the evening progressed. As an Asian, I have an alcohol intolerance symptoms, so that even when at the tiny sip, my face turns red and I have difficulties breathing. I had conveniently become Larry's designated driver. We stayed at Brian's house until after midnight with 2 of Larry's friends. All the other partygoers had left and gone home. I told Larry to stop drinking and get ready to go home, and then I went to use the bathroom. As I sat down, I heard the sound of cracking outside of the bathroom, followed by a nagging feeling that someone had fallen down the steps. I rushed out of the bathroom and ran to where the sound was coming from. I was shocked to see that my husband, Larry, had fallen down to the bottom of the high concrete steps leading to the game room in the basement. Larry lost consciousness as he lay on his right side in the pool of blood. The bare concrete, devoid of carpeting, had made Larry's traumatic brain injury much worse. Brian and his friends called 911 and the ambulance took Larry to the UC emergency room. I followed behind in my car. There's a picture 2 months before Larry fell. Larry, looks like I forget his name, but yeah. Also has Markiplier and I assume, I forget his name, Thomas? A few hours later, they took Larry to the ICU to observe him for a few hours before they informed me that Larry needed a craniotomy, a surgical procedure performed by a neurosurgeon in the UCOR. After surgery, Larry was put into an induced coma. The neurosurgeon told me that Larry's left hemisphere was 90% damaged, so more than likely he would lose his language function, analytical thinking, and problem-solving abilities of his brain. His right hemisphere was 60% damaged. The doctor said that even if Larry survived the operation, the awful facts were that Larry would probably end up living in a vegetable vegetative state in a nursing home for the rest of his life. Oh my god. That's insane. I decided to choose for my husband to live despite the doctor's warning. Deep inside my heart was telling me that it was not yet time for Larry to die, and I almost wasn't ready to give up Larry. 3 months later, Larry woke from his deep coma, but just like the doctor had warned me, he had lost almost all function. It was a heartbreaking journey to watch Larry struggle every day for the next 18 years. However, I chose to be with him regardless. 2 days after Larry celebrated his 70th birthday, he was passed away in his sleep from COVID on January 20th, 2022. Aww. A week after his funeral, Larry appeared in a dream and gently hugged me. I could feel him saying, "Thank you." Oh, that was real sad. It's heartbreaking. There's a picture, Mr. Fishbach and the boys from when they were kids. But yeah, that's all I'm going to read today. If you like this video, bomb that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe to the next one. Alright, bye-bye.